Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, so for this video, I want to take out the bag and kind of demonstrate, instead of just doing just a straight commentary video. Sometimes I think it's better to either use some visuals from the fighters themselves or just get in front of the bag and kind of show us what you're talking about. Now I wrote down some notes here. This is just a video to what I think that Gerald Washington can do in this fight with Wilder. Some of just some key points. Now, Deontay Wilder, his last 5 fights, and I kind of wrote this stuff down so I won't forget nothing, man. But his last 5 fights, rather, Stavern, Molina, Duhaupas, Arreola, Spilka. Besides the Stavern fight that went the full 12 rounds, the other 4 fights, 9 rounds, 8 rounds, 11 rounds. In those 4 fights, there was a lot of fans saying that those were to be first, second, third round knockouts, and those fights went deep into all of those fights. And they gave, besides Arreola, the other guys gave Deontay Wilder trouble, whether they landed a good left hook on him, a right hand, or they're putting a high guard up, walking him down, getting him to the ropes, busting him up a little bit. So those are not just easy fights. You know what I mean? Gerald Washington, I think, something I think he has over all those guys, maybe except Spilka. I think his fitness is superior to all those fighters. Probably not his experience, probably not his punching power, but his fitness and his size, he has an advantage over all those guys. So he's going to have to use that to his advantage in this fight. This isn't the first time Wilder's going to fight a tall fighter. It's not the first time Gerald Washington is going to fight a tall fighter. Washington has been in there with Skip Scott. I know Skip Scott is not on the level of Deontay Wilder, but he has been in there with somebody that's physically imposing. Deontay Wilder, he's been in there with, what's the dude's name? Kelvin Price. He was in it with him. So both these guys have been in there with tall fighters, so this won't be just something completely new, but it's been a while, especially for Wilder and Washington, okay? Now, one thing I noticed about Gerald, and one thing I think he could do in this fight is go to Deontay Wilder's body. Deontay Wilder kind of fight with the style. Well, against Calvin Price, he kind of went with this style. He was just, kind of jab him. He was trying to walk him down with the right hand, jab right hand. But now, in these recent fights, he's kind of fighting with his hands down. His stance is kind of wide. It's funny because I was listening to Virgil Hunter in the Mansour versus Washington fight, and Virgil Hunter kept pointing out the fact that Washington fights with a wide stance. Well, in this fight, Wilder, his opponent, he fights with a wide stance too. And he was saying that he thought fighting with that wide stance, you couldn't be as mobile. And he thought that Washington kept bringing his head every time he was throwing a punch, instead of just throwing punches across your body. So instead of just throwing the right hand, he thought he was bringing his head with and throwing it like that, which he was in that fight. But one thing about it, though, is Gerald Washington will go to the body. Now, he cleaned that up in the fight with Eddie Chambers and Austin. He cleaned it up. You know what I mean? So, but I think he can go to the body, and I think he's more willing to go to the body than Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder fights out of this style. He likes the head hunt. Now, Wilder will go to the body here and there, but really he's trying to set everything upstairs. He's trying to set it up upstairs so he can land the right hand. We know that he's getting a lot better with throwing the jab and then hooking off the jab. So Wilder could go to that, but I think Gerald Washington, he needs to attack the body, change levels. He's good at changing levels. For guys shorter than him, like Mansour, he would change levels a little bit and try to, throw punches to his body. When Wilder, when I seen him change levels, he's still head hunting, and he's trying to catch you with that right hand. He was doing that a lot with Spilka, where I thought, man, because he would, kind of get down like this with Spilka, because Spilka was fighting him out the southpaw, but he was moving his head, moving around, moving his head, doing that. So Wilder tried to change his game up a little bit and get down with him so he can try to get in line to land something upstairs. When I thought Wilder could have let Spilka do what he was doing, walk down with the jab, and then throw punches to the body. And Wilder's a tall guy, 6'7". Washington's 6'6". I'm 6'5". So a lot of times, you're not going to look like a welterweight throwing body punches, bending down, or just look like a smaller heavyweight. You know what I mean? You're a tall guy, but Vitaly Klitschko would land body punches like this sometimes. He was literally landing punches like that. We know Vitaly fights out of the stance like this. He would jab, try to find the right hand, and then place body shots. He would place hard body shots out of the low guard with his hands. His hands would be low, and he still placed some body shots. both of these fighters, Washington and Wilder, both fight with their hands down. So that could be an issue. Somebody can be wide open for a right hand or something upstairs. Again, I think Washington is more committed to going to the body. Even in the Chambers fight, when Chambers couldn't open up, a lot of people thought, oh, he couldn't knock out Chambers. Chambers been knocked out one time against Vladimir Klitschko in the 12th round, you guys. So Chambers wouldn't open up. He wouldn't open up enough. He was coming with the high guard, taking shots, watching the move, and he'll put him down, walk him down again. Yeah, he was walking Washington down, but he was getting pieced up. You know, Washington, boom, 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 landing body shots moving. Keeping the jab on him. Keep boom, right hand, boom, body shot moving. That's what he had to do in that fight, and he got by. So you can't knock out everybody, man. Amir Mansour put a lot of pressure on Gerald Washington, made him fight at a much faster pace than he's accustomed to. That's what Nagy Aguilera did also. Put up the high guard, made him, let him get his punches off, and then come out of that and start throwing punches. Nagy tried to drop his hands a little bit too and switch it up. The reason, in my opinion, that Washington got a little bit winning in that fight because he was forced to fight at a faster pace. Wilder, for the most part, if like Spilka had success as far as dictating the pace in certain spots in that fight, just by his movement and awkwardness, Wilder wasn't as willing and as reckless to come in and try to finish him. He was still trying to figure him out a little bit because Wilder, like in the Stavern fight and the Duhaupas fight, they came straight out with the high guard trying to walk him down. It was easy for him to register what he needs to do. Oh, you're going to initial, or you're going to come out with the high guard. I'm going to go on my back foot, touch you with the jab, keep you in range, try to throw right hand. You know what I mean? It was easier to for him to figure that out. Spilka was harder to figure out because he was doing all this moving, his jerky, coming in with wide hooks, uppercut. He was doing a whole bunch of little shit, so Wilder had to figure him out. Plus, he was southpaw. Mansour came straight at Gerald Washington. He made him fight at a much faster pace. He was throwing, little arcing overhand rights, and he was coming with that left hand. You know what I mean? Trying to go to the body and set up that little overhand left. He hit Washington a few times, caught him. And Washington stood up. And I've seen Amir Mansour, even though he's a smaller heavyweight, I've seen him put Fred Cassie to sleep. Now, you may look at Fred Cassie and say, oh, he's a journeyman. I thought he beat Chris Arreola. I thought Fred Cassie made Hughie Fury didn't look all that great against him. You know what I mean? So he's an awkward guy. He switches from righty to lefty. But I seen Amir Mansour put him to sleep. Amir Mansour, he's a smaller heavyweight. He got a little pop, man. So you can't just underestimate his power to that degree. He has a little pop. And Washington was able to take those punches and do what he have to do. All right, but I also think Gerald Washington should throw combinations. He can't just go, trying to land one shot for one shot. He got to start letting some combinations go, especially when he gets close on Wilder. From what I've seen, Wilder likes to do this. Whenever you come in close on him, he likes to just put his guards up. Another thing that he does, if you're throwing punches, I've seen Wilder just jump out the way like this. I've seen him do stuff like this. So he can get caught doing that. You get caught, he's jumping back like that. Now you're in here with a taller guy that even when you think you're out of reach, out of range, Gerald Washington has long enough arms where he can bring that right hand. You know what I mean? Or he can bring that left hook when you think you're out of range. And in my opinion, I think Washington is a little bit better going backwards, where I wish I had the camera on my feet, my legs, but where if he's like this and you're coming forward, he just doesn't do the whole jump off the way like that. He's probably done it in fights, but for the most part, he's gliding across the ring, still keeping his balance, still keeping his feet apart, and he's gliding, coming back. He can do little stuff like that. Whereas Wilder, he's like walking back, like his feet are like parallel, just walking straight back. You know what I mean? So I think Washington has an opportunity to take advantage of that when Wilder's going backwards, and if Wilder's coming at him and he's keeping his balance, he can probably catch Wilder. Wilder can get wild sometimes. You go look at that Spilka fight. I believe it was the first round, and it's around the minute and like 5 second mark where I seen Deontay Wilder throw 2 right hands in a row against Spilka like this. The ropes was behind him. Spilka's in front of him. He threw a right hand and literally his right foot came off the ground. He missed like this, came back and threw another one, missed the same way. Wide open to get hit. Wide open. So Washington has to take advantage of things like that, man. If he does that against him, boom, hit him with a left hook. Boom, hit him with the uppercut. The uppercut that he landed against Mansoor when Mansoor came in. Mansoor didn't see it. Mansoor got used to watching and doing this, throwing those straight punches. Came in, boom, hit him with an uppercut. Didn't even see it. Probably catch Wilder doing that. Let me see here. Feints. Throw a lot of feints. You don't want to be predictable. That's what, what's my man's name? Calvin Price. He was feinting a little bit, but it just got predictable, man. He was pretty much fighting Wilder like this. He wasn't coming into the jab. He was just circling the same way, fighting Wilder like that. Wilder just kept the high guard up, kind of parrying, boom, boom. Then it got to the point where Wilder didn't even, that right hand that put Price down, Wilder didn't even land it. He just threw it out there. Boom. I shouldn't even hit this that hard, but yeah, he threw it out there, and that's when he knocked him down. You know what I mean? So I think feints will work. Feints and change up the rhythm. Just don't keep going to the left, to the left. I mean, Wilder has more skill than that, man, where he's going to catch on to that. You know, go to the left, boom, come back over here, go back a little bit. You know, make it hard for him. You know what I mean? Feint him, drop levels. Got to do that, man. Use some of the Lennox Lewis where you're not hopping in, but you kind of, you know what I mean, feinting them, double feints, triple feints, drop levels, switch it up, give them a different look. Let me see here. Body work, needs to go to the body. Attack Wilder when he has the high guard up against the ropes. Make it physical. If it gets physical, use that former football experience. I'm not saying pick the dude up, tackle him, you know what I mean, but use that former football experience. You guys get close, rough it up a little bit, make it a dog fight. Make it a dog fight. I believe Washington is about 20 to 25 more pounds than Deontay Wilder. So when they clinch, he should always be walking Wilder backwards. There should never be a moment, unless he's hurt and he's damn near ready to get KO'd. But if they clinch up, Washington should never be walking backwards in a clinch. He should always be walking Wilder back, boom, against the ropes, hit him against, you know what I mean? Then break. Make it aggressive, be physical. Even if you guys are wrapped up, he hasn't wrapped up, and the ref breaks, you break like this. You know what I mean? Get physical with his ass. It can't be nice up in here, man. It can't be like this and you break and okay, and then get back to it. Nah, man, gotta be, I'm not saying be dirty like, go like this to the dude, but you know what I mean? Boom, just break like that, where you're using your forearms, your shoulders, making it physical, then reset. You know what I mean? So that's just some of the things I think he can do, man. I pretty much went over everything. A lot of people picking Wilder in this fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. Wilder is the favorite, man, but there's a lot of things there that Gerald can take advantage of. His size, he's a natural athlete. He played tennis back in the day. That was something that I don't hear a lot of people bring up. So he has the agility, athleticism. He played at USC. And people say, oh, he's just some random football guy. You can look at it like that, but I keep telling you guys, man, you think it's easy to get a scholarship at USC? If you live here in America and you know anything about college football, you think that's easy? And he only played like 1 year of high school. Went to the Navy for like 4 years, got out the Navy, played junior college for like 1 year. I mean, he's only had like a few years of football under his belt and earned a scholarship, man. So the Navy for 4 years, playing at high level college football with not that much experience. Big, tall, strong athlete. I'm not trying to make him over to be a world beater, but I think he's far from a bum. If he loses, man. But I think he brings something into the ring. Deontay Wilder's a late starter himself, too. He has a lot of pro fights under his belt, made it to the Olympics. But he's another guy that was learning on the fly. You know what I mean? It's not like he's some, had 300 amateur fights and he's fought Vladimir Klitschko already and all. No, man, he's still developing himself. You know what I mean? So it's just my opinion, man. You let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm out.